world, the chassis dyno, engine dyno, those are like, you know, the gold standard of knowing what your engine's doing and where, right? What RPM you're making the most power at, this and that. Well, most of us don't have the luxury of being able to use one of those, you know, consistently. I mean, it's a couple $100 each time you go. That gets expensive, even if you do have one in town. So, what do? Well, you gotta resort to using the good old-fashioned, tried and true butt dyno. But I think using your butt dyno is really a lost art. I'm going to explain to you exactly what you're looking for here. Stay with me. So, the butt dyno, right? Kind of a misnomer kind of name. You're not just, you know, using your butt. You're using everything, right? I mean, smell, you know, just hearing, all that stuff, to determine what exactly is the car doing, when, where, how much, right? The dyno is great, right? Don't get me wrong. You know, we're going to get this car dynoed for sure. But at the end of the day, the dyno isn't really matters. How the car actually reacts is really the important part, you know. You can have really impressive dyno numbers, but if the car feels slow when it's out on the road, then what's the point, okay? So there's just a couple things, you know, you kind of want to do just to get a baseline of what's going on here, right? Let's do it. Now, one thing we've got to figure out is, how does the car react from a dead stop, right? So, find out. Alright, now, did you hear that? Whoa, right? It built RPM, it kind of lost a little, then it built some more. This car doesn't have really anything downstairs because of the camshaft. And it's got a 2,200 stall converter in it. So it will go up to 2,200, but then the stall, you know, locks itself, bringing the RPMs back and trying to work its way back out. It doesn't have a lot of torque to actually power through, right? So where is the torque? We got to find that out. Where does the torque begin? Well, for that we got to go out on the open road. High gear, 1,500 RPM. We just want to plug the throttle and see what it does. Now I can feel not much happening, right? It's not pushing me back in the seat at all. So then we raise the RPM a little and try it again. We'll try 2 grand. Alright, we're at a steady state. Again, nothing. At 2 grand, the RPM flings up, but it's not pushing me back. That can be about the converter, though. The converter can be slipping, not actually applying the power to the ground. So, let's raise the RPM some more. Let's try 2,500. Don't fall over now. Alright, 2,500. A little bit more. So I can actually feel it pushing what exactly did that even tell us, right? Well, it told us a few things, okay? Now, just from the feel of it, obviously the 1500 and the 2000 didn't have any response. I said it has a 2200 stall converter in it. So really, it should just fling up to 2200. But even at 2500 RPM, we weren't feeling anything hardly, right? I mean, barely anything. Wasn't up until we got into about 3 grand that I could actually feel the car pushing me back in the seat. And I think you can see it in the video just a smidgen, right? That's about where it has the most torque, you know, the most grunt to push me back in the seat, to push the car forward. 3500, while it's still pushing, it's not, I can feel it's not as much as it was at 3 grand. Now, is that just because that's the way the car is, or does the car need more tuning? At 3500, I could hear, the first time I blipped it, a stumble. So I think we need a little more carburetor tuning for one thing. But even so, I think that is kind of where this engine lies. Because this engine really is a terrible combination. It's got a camshaft in it. Don't know what size, but I can, you know, just based on the chop, right? It's a mild cam, right? So that raises the RPM peak up. You know, bigger the camshaft, the higher the RPM in which it makes power, right? So we're already throwing away stuff at the bottom, just off the camshaft. Well, then it's got stock iron heads on it, 302 heads, which 302 heads are not good flowing heads by any stretch of the imagination. So that's limiting the top end. So what's it doing? We have nothing downstairs, and we have no ability to really do much upstairs. That leaves us just the middle, which, if you go back and you look, any burnout video or anything we've done on the car so far, it does a whoa at the bottom, trying to power through the RPM. Once it hits 3000, sounds really good, you know, whatever. But then after 3000, it just doesn't want, it climbs, but it just doesn't want to climb the RPM that much. So we got that narrow little band of space to make power with. That's what we've learned here today. Already known that, but just showing you how I figure, you know, this out, right? Is there anything we can do to fix that? Well, yes, but that's for another video, and I'll catch you next time.